Palmer Bet Brownlow Medal Special. That's right. It is the Nighter Knights. The AFL will
Nighter
crown
Knights.
their greatest and their best spine. What was the most votes you ever polled in a Brownlow Medal? Legend?
Oh, look, unfortunately, I just won him for Robert Harvey. I hit him all the balls, and he went on to poll. He won two back to back, 97, 98. We're leading at one, not leading, but we're up there at 1 year. I think it might have been with the Hawks. And then Dunstall, he was the acting president at that stage. He told us all to stop drinking and stop carrying on in case one of us won it. And we're like, mate, we're no hope of winning it. So they were. They were really good nights. They were fun nights. Everybody had a bit of a crack and, you had a laugh and then ultimately, found a winner. But it was always nice to have, especially in the 90s when you had Robert Harvey in your own team win a couple of Brownlows. It's, the party keeps going and it's a fun night.
Hey, Sport, it is a fun night. It's a great way to celebrate, and there's always conjecture and there's always opinions about voting and all that kind of stuff. But fair call. I reckon they are not far off the mark each year on the best player in the comp, are they?
Oh, they're not really. I know there's always the ups and downs, but to be honest, the best players, and we'll go through it now. The best players are in the top three or four anyway. You can't deny them, and it's just a matter of which way the penny falls, because every one of them in their right, if you could go to each one of their teams and said, no, they should be the Brownlow, they should be the Brownlow medalists, they should be the Brownlow medalists. So it's always an interesting one. But yeah, for me, I'm happy with it, how it unfolds. So it's been like that for years and years. Keep with it. You get some, you miss some, but 95% of the time they're pretty correct.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I'm going to go through the Palmer Bet market for the Brownlow medal, of course. Patrick Cripps and Nick Dacos, both our favourites at $2.50, been rock solid all year. Lockie Neal, looking for his third Brownlow at $8. Marcus Bontempelli at $13. If anyone deserves one, I reckon the Bont does. Yep. Zach Merritt, he'll start the season really, really well, but he just punches late, $26. Caleb Sarong from the Fremantle Dockers at $34. Tommy Green from the Giants, what a year he's had, $41. Errol Goulden, who polled so well last year, $67. And Zach Butters from Port Adelaide at $81. So that is the top 10 spot. Generally, you find two players that poll well year on year seem to do the same, don't they? Each and every year.
Well, it's hard, isn't it? Because you always say, okay, has Nick Dacos had a better year than last year? It's hard. Yeah. Patrick Cripps, I think Cripps probably has. Lockie Neal, probably not. Marcus Bontempelli, I think he's probably 3 votes short, I reckon. If he just got that last 3 in the last game, I reckon he would have been right up there. So it's always hard. And then you got to look at sides like Zach Merritt. Who's taking votes off Zach Merritt? No one really. And then the same as Dacos, Collingwood, Josh Dacos won the best and fairest last year, and he was higher up in the Brownlow. So it's a really hard one to pick. But you're my top 3, I reckon. If I was going top 3, I think it's going to be a draw, to be honest. I don't think you can split Cripps and Dacos.
Really?
I look, personally, I'd love to see Patrick Cripps win it. I think personally, him as a player carries that team like no one else. Like you virtually see him carrying the other blokes on his shoulders when he's getting to stoppages in the last. He carries them on over the line. Dacos, that last game, they were feeding him a bit to have 40-odd plus and, to get him 3 votes when they weren't really doing much. He absolutely can change a game and he can win a game. We've seen that. But, sorry, he's it's just a different player than Patrick Cripps. And then I think the third place is going to be the Bont. I reckon Bont will do enough to get 3. Isaac Heaney's going to be stiff. We know that he's not eligible, but for me, I think they're my top 3. I reckon it's going to be a draw with Cripps and Dacos, and I reckon the Bont will come second for about the 4th time.
Gee whiz, you're calling a draw. I'm with you on Cripps, and I go back to, I reckon contested possession spite. I reckon that is a big, big part of this. And if you have a look at contested possessions for the year, Patrick Cripps was the season leader with 376, Tom Green 363, Lockie Neal 327, Bontempelli 326. So I reckon Dacos Might just miss out on a few votes because I reckon they do love that contested football. Whether you like it or not, they see the stats now, the umpires, and I reckon that's a
Yeah.
big thing. And if you have a look, mate, even score involvements, Bonampelli leads the way with
Oh, yeah.
196. Errol Goulden 180, Dylan Moore 180, Zach Butters 178. And then the other one that I reckon is obviously just disposals, which Tommy Green has led the way in season 2024 with 770. Lockie Whitfield 754. Trelaw 725. He might be a smoky and might
Well,
take votes off the bot this year.
the one that we were all forgetting about too, and they've had a great year. They just missed out was Freo, Sarong. Like go with Sarong. He's had a cracking year, and yeah, got a couple of Brayshaw and a few others, and Tracy played a few good games. But Sarong's been consistent, and at $21, you'll get him at a few bucks easily to make the top three or the top five. So there's a little bit of value if you're on the purple haze. So. And as you mentioned, Eric Gordon, but Sydney have got a lot of superstars. They share it around.
Yeah, they do share it around. And I suppose that's what makes them a really good footy side, doesn't it? I'm leaning towards Cripps winning it outright. And I think Dacos is going to run second again. He's going to fall agonisingly short. And you know what, mate? I'm actually chucking. I reckon one that just sneaks under the radar.
Oh,
And he
go
did
on
it.
who?
Lockie Deal. I'm just going the first three. I know that's boring.
No, that's not boring, but has Lockie Neal had a good a year as last year?
Well, I don't reckon we were even talking about him though in the mix last year as winning.
We weren't. He came out of nowhere. He was Casper the Ghost.
So I just reckon he's just that proven vote getter that's just that in and under player. I'd be having a play around too. Zach Merritt. I don't know whether there's a margin, or a leader after round 12 or round 10 or something spot, but I reckon Zach Merritt will be a play early on in the season because he does attract votes, and there's no one really at the Bombers, I reckon, that stands out like Zach does. Left footer, nuggety, good player, and I reckon that might be a little play as well, Spide.
And he's been getting his hands on it. Yeah, it's good to go through and see who you think's going to win it out of every team. You'd think Zach Merritt, but then you start getting to your Freos, you start getting your Geelong. Geelong, tough year for a lot of players, but even Port Adelaide, like Butters was on 5, and then Rosie stepped up. Dan Houston, Horn Francis, like it'd be interesting to see which team actually polls the most votes, because sometimes it's not your Dacos's and Collingwood, and it's not your Cripps and Carlton because they're the only ones who really poll a majority of the votes. It's your teams like Sydney who have multiple. They always have a 3 and a 1 or a 3 and a 2.
Yeah. And I think you got to look at the Sydney, Port Adelaide, and probably Geelong would be in that mix, I reckon, this year, Spy. They haven't lost it. If they have lost games, they've been by close enough margins. So they're still going to be picking up votes. So, it's going to be an intriguing count. So Cripps will be looking for his second Brownlow. Nick Dacos will be looking for his first Brownlow. Lockie Neal will be looking for his third. The Bont looking for his first. How many times he run second, the Bont?
I think 3. I think it's a few.
Yeah. And I can't see anyone out of that top 4 causing a little upset for mine. I reckon the market's got it pretty right. The team of
I think, I think if you're going to take a Quinella, there's your top. I mean, the quaddie, take your top 4. They might even have a top 5, but your top 3 will be amongst those top 4. In which order and how they look, as I said, you've got Lockie Neal in, I've got Lockie Neal out, but I think the others are going to be pretty safe.
Righto, download the Palmerbet app, get involved, get your Partners Club happening, have a bit of fun with your mates, Brownlow betting. There's so many things on offer. As you said, Spy, there's most team votes, there's leaders after certain rounds, your club leader, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There is heaps you can match up head-to-heads, all that stuff. Palmerbet, do it. And as we always say, gamble responsibly and always think about what you're really gambling with.
That'd be a good one, wouldn't it? Head-to-head.
Yeah, absolutely.
Head-to-head. It would be interesting to see Cripps versus the Bont. It'll be actually, they're the head-to-heads because they're going to be close. So you need to get some okay odds.
Yeah, absolutely. So, listen, plenty of options. The Palmer Bet boys don't let us down, that is for sure. Going to be an intriguing count. We've gone a little bit different. You're predicting a tie with the two faves in Cripps and Dacos. I'm expecting Cripps to get the job done. He has had a magnificent season. Spike, you have a wonderful Brownlow medal night, mate, and put the bow tie on. And
there's only two things we do on Brownlow night, and that is three. We watch the Brownlow, we put the bow tie on, and we drink Crown Lagers. That's all we do.
I love it. Brownlow medal special. All thanks to Palmer.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.